rock. We're going to get started. Tonight, we're going to talk about insomnia, trouble sleeping. My name is Lori. I am from Women's Health on the Go, where we offer telemedicine to women for lots of things. Telemedicine is an appointment with a provider through a video stream, and we can do lots of things: birth control, treat simple urinary tract infections, vaginal infections, talk about menopause, reoccurring vaginal infections, so many things we can do. So if you're in need, make sure you go to our website, womenshealthonthego.com, and if you don't need one, make sure you sign up for a newsletter, because we get lots of great things. So definitely sign up. So let's start our conversation about insomnia. Now, the reason why I chose insomnia is, well, for a couple of reasons. A lot of the topics that I talk about, I actually talk about how stress causes disease, and insomnia is very, very common. It's one of the top reasons why people go to their healthcare provider. When you look at the statistics, 50% more women, 50% of the people are, 50% more are women than there are men, which I believe that, us women, we've got a lot on our plates, and sometimes we can have trouble sleeping. And I thought it would be a really important subject to talk about, because of the fact that we need to take care of ourselves, and we need to somehow chip away at stress in our life, stress on our body, to make sure that we are healthy. So insomnia basically is something that there's no test to kind of per se diagnose you with insomnia, but it's more based on your symptoms and what you come and talk to your healthcare provider about. But it's basically, you can have trouble getting to sleep, you can have trouble staying asleep, or you can also have, you wake up really early in the morning, like 3, 4 o'clock in the morning, you get up, and you can't go back to sleep. So those are the kind of criteria that they look for. And that could be something that's temporary. Maybe you have something stressful, like maybe you have a big project that's due at work and it's stressing you out, and you have trouble sleeping for a short amount of time. Or then you can have it being chronic, which is, a longer time. Usually, if you want to talk about like acute, it's more like lasts for kind of maybe 3 months, as compared to if you're talking about long term, that's going to be more like you're having trouble sleep for like a year, okay? And when you don't sleep well, even in the interim, your everyday life, you're tired all the time, you may be hazy and confused. Sometimes people get anxiety from it, they get depression from it. Typically, actually, when you look at insomnia, it precedes depression and anxiety, and actually insomnia precedes alcohol abuse as well. Because if you think insomnia because you're not sleeping right, you're not feeling right, it can lead to you actually feeling of anxiety and depression. And then also when it comes to alcohol abuse, sometimes people, when they have problems sleeping, they actually think that alcohol is actually going to help them go to sleep, which it really doesn't. It will induce a temporary, like, you drink a little bit and you get a little tired and you fall asleep, but your body is not getting proper sleep at that. And then typically most people will get up really early, and they'll wake up in the middle of the night really early, like 3, 4 o'clock in the morning, and they won't have that ability to go back to sleep. So as much as people think that when they're having problems sleeping that alcohol is going to help them get to sleep, it's like the worst thing that you can do. So you definitely don't want to do that. But as I talked before last week about all these kind of things, your poor performance, you're confused, you're dazed, you're tired, you have now depression, you have anxiety, that causes stress on the body. And we talked about last week about how our body reacts. We have that cortisol level in our body, and when we have a little bit of stress, it's okay. Our body is able to function on that. But when we're having, especially when you're having chronic every night, not sleeping correctly, your body is trying to go in that fight or flight response to help you kind of get back to being normal. And unfortunately, long-term use of that stress can cause other medical problems. So This is one thing, it's very, very common. We want to kind of nip it in the bud, and, so that we're a lot healthier. So when it comes to insomnia, a lot of people go to their provider for it, and a lot of them will get prescription drugs. So I'm going to briefly go over them. You know me, I'm always loving to talk about all the other natural and other lifestyle changes that we can do. So I've got lots of information on that, but I just want to touch a little bit on medications that you may be prescribed or told to take by your healthcare provider. One simple thing, and I have to tell you, let's see. This is a long time ago. After I graduated nursing school, my first job was in a nursing home. And I never initially understood. We used to give antihistamines to any residents that had trouble sleeping. And I would never think to give someone Benadryl. I mean, it does make you drowsy. But that is actually something that they do prescribe to people to help with insomnia, is just taking Benadryl or any other kind of, not all antihistamines now, some of them are non-drowsy, but just taking simple Benadryl. I remember way back then, I'm like, you want me to give the patient what? Benadryl? So it was one of my first learning experiences in nursing school, way back in the day. And then there's benzodiazepines, which some people get prescribed regular, and then there's also like non-benzodiazepines. So benzodiazepines are things like Xanax, Klonopin, and Valium. Okay. Valium. They are central nervous sedations. They cause muscle relaxation. They cause drowsiness, dizziness. They can be, you can develop an addiction to them. So they're not prescribed very often, but that is one thing, some prescription providers will prescribe them. Then you have those I can't even talk right now. Benzodiazepines, such as a lot of people will see commercials for Lunesta or Ambien. I think another one is Sonata. So those are prescription drugs that are not as, they don't have that narcotic kind of really drowsy kind of effect like Valium or Xanax or Klonopin, but they are prescribed. The problem with those is a lot of times a side effect is that you may actually wake up and still be drowsy throughout the rest of the day and just not kind of feeling right. And then there's also the next day feeling drowsy, and then sometimes they don't actually, like Ambien, there's two different types of Ambiens. Regular Ambien will help you go to sleep, but then a lot of people were complaining that it actually, you wake up really early in the morning and then you can't get back to sleep. There is a new Ambien, I think it's CR or CX, one of those letters. I don't really recall the letters on the top of my head, but they are more long-acting, and those ones are a little bit better. But sometimes they could be a little kind of, not necessarily addictive, but you get in the habit of taking it and those, and sometimes when you get in the habit of taking them, you can't end up falling asleep naturally because your body is kind of relying on those. So those are kind of medications that doctors or providers or healthcare providers can prescribe. Well, you know me, I like to go over all the other natural things that we can do to help us to go to sleep. And one of the first things that I want to do is talk about our bedroom, okay? Because there's lots of things that we can do just in our environment and our bedroom to make it more conducive to sleeping. Now, some of these things, I don't know if you ever heard of Feng Shui. Feng Shui is, it's the theory about where things are placed in the room, how things are placed in the room, the energy that flows through, and there's theories. There's a couple different types of Feng Shui. One is based on the direction of north, east, south, and west, and then there's another one based on a Bagua, I think it's called, depending on what section they divide your house and then in your room into 9 sections, and basing on where you put those things and the energy kind of flow. So some of them I'm going to go over them, and then also there's just a whole bunch of other kind of things that I think doing to your bedroom can just help induce a nice night's sleep. So Feng Shui wise, they say make sure your bed is against a wall. Avoid a wall that is the same wall that your door is on, or make sure that the head of your bed, there's not a window behind it, that the room on the other side of the bedroom should not have a toilet there, or a kitchen on the other side, which I know some of these things, look really difficult. Your house is set up the way that it is, but I just think these things are kind of interesting. Those are the kind of feng shui things. Now, other things that you can definitely do is, one, make sure your bedroom is clean, it's free of clutter. Make sure that your bedroom doesn't have bright lights in it or anything like that. Make sure they have nice, calm, relaxing kind of lights in there. You also, if you're going to paint your room, or you're going to choose the colors of your room, make sure they're soothing and relaxing colors that you put on the room. Spend a little money on your bedding. Make sure your bedding, you have a nice warm comforter that makes you feel good. You have a good pillow. Make sure, you have obviously a good bed. I know sometimes, we keep our mattresses a little too long, so you want to make sure that you try to see how long you've had your mattress, and if you can, to get a nice good mattress. You want to try to have no electronics in the bedroom. The bedroom should be used for two things, and I tell this to people all the time. It should be used for sleeping and for sex, and that's about it. Or some kind of relaxing, like some relaxing thing that you may be doing to help you unwind. So, no TVs in the bedroom. There is lots of theories about, one, you shouldn't fall asleep with a TV on, because of the electronics and the lights that are from that is just going to cause you to have a disturbing sleep. They even say that if you are going to have a TV in their bedroom, that you should cover it with something so that at nighttime there's no, because it's still plugged in. So the theory is that there's still electronic, I don't know if you want to call them impulses or whatever, that are still emitting from the bedroom. Your alarm clocks, if you're going to have them, they should be as far, either if they're going to be far away or battery operated and not necessarily plugged in. Not having your cell phones, also especially charged next to your bed. All electronics removed from the bedroom, because you don't want to have any of that electricity kind of sparking in your bedroom and causing you to have problems sleeping. So you also, your blinds or your curtains in there, you either want them to be, whether you have them up during the day and they're fine, but when you put them down, they do not allow any light in, especially even street lights. I know that when I'm sleeping, if my neighbor has their outside window, they have a light on their house on the side, and sometimes it's on, like it goes directly into their driveway. Well, if that's on, weird as it is because it's not really giving me a lot of light, but I can tell that light's on, and it kind of wakes me up, or I can't fall asleep. So you want to have your room as dark as possible. And even if you get like the eye shades, definitely eye shades can definitely block that out. You also want to make sure that there's not a lot of noise. I know that when I used to live in the city, New York City, and I lived on we'll call it busy road, and when I was living in this one place, and this was a long time ago, and at first I was like, oh my God, like how am I going to deal with all this noise? Earplugs. And there are these earplugs. I had a friend that told me about these. They have those mushy ones that you put in the like little foam. They do nothing. I found these earplugs. I'll have to find them on the website again. And they are, I don't even know what they're made of. It's almost like, I would say, silly putty or Play-Doh kind of consistency. And you kind of roll it up and you stick it in and you push it and it molds right into your ear. I cannot hear a thing. I sleep like a rock whenever I use those. Even now my home, I live, in a suburb. It's not like I live on a busy street or anything. My husband does snore sometimes, which can, be a little bit challenging to go to sleep. But when I put those earplugs in, I can't hear a thing, and I sleep like a rock. So you definitely want to try to make sure that if you are, especially if you're living in the see, it's okay. So Dave is saying, can anybody see this? So I'm hoping that people are seeing it. I can see it on my TV. I mean, on my computer and on my laptop. So hopefully that's not meaning that somebody can't see what we're doing here. So if you are saying, Nancy is saying yes, we can see. If anybody else cannot see this, please let me know. I don't know what we'll have to try to figure out what's going on. So hopefully everybody's getting to see this. Anyway, so no light, no noise, clean of clutter. No work. If you have a desk in your room that you have to, have an office, even if you have a small apartment or something like that, take that little office space and put it somewhere else. No work in your bedroom. No TV in the bedroom. All those kind of things out the door. They even say too, if you have some people have a master bathroom on next to their bath, that you should, well, first off, you should feng shui wise, you should always put your toilet seat completely down, because if you have it up, money flushes down the toilet. So if you want to keep your money, make sure you put your toilet seat down. I'm huge on that. I'm always yelling at people, who left the toilet seat up? You got to keep the toilet seat down. Fiona, I will definitely get those earplugs. I'll find them and I'll put a link below of those earplugs, because they are amazing. So I will definitely do that later. So shutting your door to your bathroom, if you have a bathroom that's connected to your master, if your master bedroom, make sure that you close that door as well. Another thing is the temperature. At nighttime, you should definitely decrease the temperature in your home. Most people sleep better when the temperature is decreased in their home. Now that depends, they say around 68. In our house, we have the temperature during the day at 68, and at nighttime we have it at 65. So I think it depends on what your daytime is comfortable, and then your nighttime just trying to bringing it down a little bit. So just kind of bring it down a little bit to make sure that you have a better sleep, because bringing it down will definitely help you sleep a lot better. Okay, so that, I think, in a nutshell, is the bedroom. So you just want to make the bedroom, if you have a wonderful place that you sleep and you just like, oh my God, I can't wait to go to bed because I love my bedding, I love my comfy sheets, I love my pillow, I love it when I look from my bed, I have a beautiful, scene, my walls are pretty, I have pretty artwork. You don't want to have any scary artwork. If you're in a couple, or if you want to be in a couple, another little feng shui thing, put two of things. If you have like a painting or whatever, like two butterflies or a couple together, make sure that you have a nightstand on each. That kind of promotes togetherness. But if you have that kind of environment in your bedroom, you're gonna feel better. You are going to want to go to sleep. You want to have that environment that you're going to sleep as beautiful as you can. Okay? Then what can you do? Other things that now you can do what you can do before. Okay, so we want to avoid caffeine. Now they say some people drink caffeine all day. I cannot. I have 1 cup in the morning and that is it. They say to avoid caffeine from like 2 o'clock on. And that can even, if you're sensitive to chocolate, because some chocolate has caffeine in it as well, so you don't want to have chocolate in the evening either, okay? So after 2 p.m., no coffee. Avoid daytime naps. If you're taking naps, you might not be as tired in the evening, so try to avoid those naps. Exercise. Sedentary lifestyle, which is just hanging out and doing nothing, is known to have I don't want to say increased risk, because I'm not quite sure, I don't like the word risk, but that puts you likelihood of having trouble sleeping at night. So exercise every day. Get up, go for a walk. Even if it's going for a walk for 20 to 30 minutes, that is exercise. Make sure you get out there and you exercise. No eating 3 hours before you go to bed. No fluids 2 hours before you go to bed. And that's really a key. Dave says, what about if you're old? What about naps if you're old? Well, Dave, I don't, they say that, if you're having naps, if you're having problems sleeping at night and you're napping during the day, you may want to eliminate that nap. If you're taking your nap and you're not having any trouble sleeping at night, then I think that you're okay. So, okay, so keep going on, no fluids. So because some of us, as we get a little older, if we have fluids right before we go to bed, then we end up having to wake up and go to the bathroom. So you want to avoid any kind of fluids, drinks, or anything like that about 2 hours before. You want to start what I call powering down, whatever it is that you want to call, at least 30 minutes to an hour before, okay? And how you power down is completely up to you. I have kind of made, what I do at night is I try to read some gushy novel, that has, I used to constantly do medical reading, constantly doing something, and I finally said I can't do that anymore. So about 30 minutes to an hour before, I get all my stuff ready for the night, and then I go into bed, and I just kind of read just fluffy stuff. It has no meaning, and that's how I do it. You may want to take like a bath before, but definitely winding down, no electronics, no computers, no TVs, no telephone, no sitting in bed talking on the phone or anything like that. You want to just power yourself down. It's almost like getting yourself ready to go to bed. It's like a trigger to your body saying, okay, it's almost like it is like a trigger to your body saying, all right, my body's starting to shut down. I gotta go to bed. Okay. One thing that I've read that I like to journal. I journal in the mornings. That's my time that I journal. But one thing, especially, a lot of people have problems going to sleep because their mind is constantly going. They're going about what they did for the day, what do they got to do for tomorrow, oh my God, I'm worrying about this, I'm worrying about my, this person at work or this project I have to do. So your mind is constantly going. So there is the suggestion of having what they call like a worry journal. And before you go to bed, when you're doing your wind down, just write in your journal, get it all out. Whatever is bothering you, whatever you're worrying about, however your day was, write it out. Write it all out and just get it all out so you don't have to worry about it. And then also, if you're going to start thinking about tomorrow, then go, all right, well, what do I got to do tomorrow? And just start listing it and listing it and listing it. Write it out and then close it and put it to the side so that when you go to sleep, your mind everything's behind you. Even tomorrow is not even a thought, and just putting it away. So, if that may work for you, that's another thing that you can do. One thing that I have done if I ever have trouble sleeping at night, when they say counting sheep, I understand how it works. Especially if you're not going to do something like a worry journal, or if you find yourself, you go to bed and your mind starts thinking, blah, 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 it just starts going and going and going. I will sometimes, it's not necessarily that I'm counting sheep, but I'll start counting. I'll just be like, maybe 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, 3 Mississippi, and I'll just go up to 10, and then I'll reverse it. 10, 9, 8, and I'll just do it. And it'll be amazing how your mind kind of shuts off from whatever it's doing, and your mind is able to actually relax and get to sleep. It really does. I mean, at least for me, it works. It is absolutely amazing. I totally get that whole concept of counting sheep. I don't necessarily count sheep, but it does work. Another thing that you can do is breathing. And you can, if you want to, count that breathing. So just laying in bed, maybe put your hand on your belly to feel for the raise of your belly, but just to take a nice slow deep breath in, and then a slow deep breath out, and maybe when you do it, say 1, and then you just do it again, 2, And if your mind drifts off, even when you're counting, if your mind drifts off to like, oh my God, I gotta do this tomorrow, I gotta do this tomorrow, bring it back. I'm breathing and focusing on that breathing, or focusing on that number that you're on. Because even when you meditate, meditation is all about trying to quiet the mind. And it's very hard to quiet the mind. Sometimes the mind is still going to do whatever it is it's going to do. And it's just honoring those thoughts of when they come in, and just honoring them, and then just letting them go, and kind of bringing yourself back to where you are in center. And either counting or breathing or whatever it is that you want to do. So honoring that thought, but letting it go, and then coming back to that present moment there. And then you can also do guided meditations. If you go on YouTube and you look up guided meditation for sleeping, there's tons of them. They're all free. I've done some before in the past too. They work. Or even if it's not guided meditation, there are lots of, you can look up subliminal tapes where there's music, but then there's voices in the background saying relax and unwind. There's binaural beats, which are also, there's this theory about beats and how they go into one ear or to the other, and how they affect the size of the brain, and how they can relax you and go to sleep. So there's lots of different kinds of music that you can do. So there's all these kind of things that you can do to kind of unwind and get yourself into sleep. Yoga. There's lots of yoga poses that you can do for nighttime, for sleeping. I was going to, name a few and try to describe them, but it's a little hard, to kind of do it where I am. So I would definitely kind of Google if you want to do some yoga poses before you go to bed. Some of them you can do right in your bed. They're not that difficult to do, just to help you kind of unwind as well. Another thing that you want to do is stick to a schedule. Stay to the same sleeping schedule every night if possible. When you start doing, oh, I go to bed at 5 o'clock tonight, or I'm going to go to bed at 2 o'clock in the morning, and then I'm going to, your body is just confused, and it's not going to be helpful for your body to try to get regulated. So make sure that they say that you should get to bed no later by 11, and you should get up no later than 7 a.m. So I know a lot of people are like, 7 a.m.? Oh my goodness, that's so early. I think the latest I will ever sleep in on a weekend is like 7:30, 8 o'clock. But I try to kind of I always make sure that I am in my bed by 10, and hopefully by the time I'm unwinded and everything, about 11 o'clock. Sometimes I even do 10 o'clock, depending on what day of the week. But definitely sticking to a schedule. All right, so let's talk about some essential oils, and then I also want to talk about some herbs that we can also use. Now, essential oils, I'm sorry, I was just kind of commenting on. So I can see, hello Donna, welcome to the show. I'm hoping you're enjoying this. We're talking about insomnia. And then also, Ambien versus, what was you saying, Ambien or guided meditation? I personally would say try the guided meditation first, Dave, before doing Ambien. And then also I'm going to talk about some essential oils and some herbs that you can do, or which are a little bit more natural than taking Ambien, because Ambien tends to, a lot of people tend to be very drowsy and groggy the next day, and the whole purpose is for you to get a good night's sleep so you can wake up refreshed and ready to go. And if you take Ambien, a lot of people get groggy. So I would definitely try to do a guided meditation first. So whenever I talk about essential oils and whenever I talk about herbs, I always say to everybody, we should honor and respect these essential oils and herbs. They are nature's, I don't want to say pharmaceuticals, but I am sort of going to kind of say that. Just like pharmaceuticals, herbs and essential oils, herbs and essential oils are basically made from plants. Plants, as I always say to I do this every show, there's lots of different chemical components in it, and they work in synergy together to make sure that when it comes into your body is able to process this and get it to exactly where it's supposed to and what you need in your body. A pharmaceutical is basically, they found a plant, they found this component that works with, we'll say, insomnia. They pull that component out and they put it into a pill. Your body can't process this pill as good as it can process this herb, okay? So, but the concept is they're very much close. We want to honor our herbs and we want to honor our essential oils and make sure before you use them, make sure that they don't interact with any diagnosis that you may have, or they don't interact with any medications that you are taking. So just make sure that whenever you use anything, you either talk to somebody that is a certified aromatherapist or is herbal educated to make sure that they don't interact with any medications that you're taking, any diagnosis that you have. Sometimes they can increase blood pressure, they can lower blood pressure. If you're having problems with your period, some essential oils can increase bleeding. I'm going to talk about clary sage in a couple of minutes. Clary sage, if you have heavy bleeding with your periods, it's going to make it worse. So there's all these little kind of things. So I always just say that when it comes to that stuff, so make sure that you honor them and you respect them just like we do pharmaceuticals, because I know that they're sold over the counter, but they definitely need to be respected. So essential oils. Now, the way that you can use essential oils, there's lots of things that you can do. You can put them in a bath if you're going to do it. You can make like a pillow spray that you can put on your bed. You can use an air diffuser, which I don't have my air diffuser here, but if you watch my show about essential oils, which was a couple of weeks ago, I show you all these things. The diffuser kind of puts the essential oils into the air into your bedroom. You can use an inhaler, which and there's a little inhaler thing that you smell the essential oils. You can even have lotion that you put on your body and it has those essential oils on you that you can do. So there's lots of ways that we can use essential oils. And some of them that are good for sleep is obviously lavender. I'm sure everybody knows that lavender is a great essential oil for relaxation. I love lavender. Lavender is one of my favorites. Chamomile, which a lot of us know about chamomile tea, which you can definitely do for tea as well, but you can also get the essential oil, is great. Clary sage, as I said before, is a great. Bergamot. Dave, you should know bergamot. I know that we were talking about other things with bergamot, but bergamot is another essential oil that's great for sleep. It's very relaxing. Lang Lang is another one. Lang Lang smells so beautiful. I absolutely love Lang Lang. It's very sweet and very floral. It's very, very beautiful. Cedarwood, patchouli, and marjoram are just a good handful. They're pretty much all of them. There are, I think, a couple of more essential oils that you can use, but all of those essential oils are great to help you get a nice sleep. You can use them single, or you can, make a blend. Try making a blend of them. And I'm sure that there's lots of people that sell essential oil blends as well if you wanted to look up something like that. I typically get all my essential oils from Eden's Garden, which they're really great. They're very reasonable. They do great testing on their essential oils, so I know that they're good, and it's free shipping, which is also another amazing and awesome thing. Okay, so some herbs that we can use. Lavender, again, you can use lavender herb and chamomile, again, as essential oils, but you can use them as herbs as well. Lemon balm is another one. Hops, which I know isn't beer, but you can usually actually use hops as very sedative. Kava helps with anxiety, and it's very hypnotic. Passion flower is another one. Valerian. Valerian root is one that is, when you want to use something that's for right now, like lavender, chamomile, lemon balm, like they're kind of short acting. You can take them and you can feel the effects. Where valerian root is something that you got to take long term to start feeling the effects. But the thing with valerian root is that if you do take it for long term and then you stop, you're actually going to have withdrawal symptoms. So this is how we have to honor herbs. They can be just like pharmaceutical drugs as well. So, in California, poppy is another one. And how we can take these herbs, you know, again, I definitely, these herbs that you can use, I would definitely talk to someone about taking them and making sure that they don't interact with anything else that's going on in your life. But you can make a tea of them. The problem with tea is that then you're drinking liquids, and then if you have the problem of getting up in the middle of the night, that could be a problem. Another great thing to do is with a tincture. They sell tinctures out there. I should probably make another video on how to make tinctures. If not, there are lots of videos out there. Tinctures are very, very easy to make. Tinctures are basically taking your herb and pouring alcohol like vodka, 80 proof vodka on them, and just sealing them up in a jar, putting them in a dark, cool place, shaking them every once in a while, leaving them for about, some people leave them for longer, you know, so kind of it depends, 6-8 weeks, and then you strain the herb off, and then you have your tincture. And you just do like a dropper full. I usually put, like, I made a tincture of equal parts of lavender, chamomile, and lemon balm that I use to help me when I'm just feeling like, you know, a little edgy, you know, I've had a rough day and, you know, I know that I may have trouble sleeping. I just take a dropper full of that. I put it like in a little shot glass, and I just put a little water, because you got to think it's alcohol, and you might not necessarily want to put that alcohol right into your mouth. I did that once, and that wasn't really a great experience, so I don't recommend it. Some people will say, just squirt it underneath your tongue. I personally didn't like the taste of it. I thought it was awful. But, you know, to each his own, however you want to do it. But I do it in a little shot glass, and I do it anywhere from 30 minutes to an hour before I go to sleep. And it's amazing. I do it like at that time, and then after that I go into my bed and I do my reading, and then I put my earplugs, which I will definitely put a link to them down below, because they are awesome. And then I usually go to sleep, and I usually have a pretty good night's sleep. But that is basically, there is probably so much more that I can say about what we can do to help us when we're experiencing insomnia. As with all my shows, I do sometimes go over 30 minutes, but it's just 30 minutes talking about this, and I'm trying to jam all this information into this short time. So I'm sure that there is a lot more information that I probably forgot to say, so I do apologize for that. But hopefully this gives you some great information on how you can take care of insomnia a natural way as compared to taking a prescription drug. Make a ritual out of it. Make it a beautiful ritual. Make your bedroom beautiful, inviting, and loving, and relaxing, and make it, sleep is really important. If you think about it, it's like a full-time job, right? You go to job 8 hours a day, you need to get 7-8 hours of sleep a day, so it's like a full-time job. And you want to make, I try to make my full-time job the best that I can. And so I love it, and I enjoy doing it. Treat going to bed the same way. My full-time job, my other full-time job is going to sleep, and I'm going to make the best of it so I can have a great night's sleep, so I can be refreshed and ready to go for the next day. So I think if you approach it that way, I think maybe you'd be able to get a good night's sleep. So that's about it for this evening. If you have any questions, please make sure you post them below. Email, private message me, reach out to our website, womenshealthonthego.com, where we offer telemedicine to women. If you haven't done so yet, make sure you sign up for our newsletter at our website. We get lots of great information, and that's about it. Next week, I'm planning on having a guest. Hopefully it'll work out this time. I'm really, really excited. I'm going to be announcing that guest later in the week, so it's going to be definitely a different show. We're going to be in a different spot, so I'm really excited about that. Have a great night, everyone. And remember, women's health matters, our bodies matter, so let's make sure that we take care of ourselves. Thank you very much for thank you very much for watching our show tonight, and we'll see you next week.